Education is something that cannot be stolen, cannot be taxed. The more you spend, the more it becomes. The more you share, the more it expands.
Do you feel that education is becoming really expensive?
Well, to be honest, education तो आज पहले के टाइम से काफी सस्ती और काफी एक्सेसिबल है, बट लोगों को बता पाना कि मैं एजुकेटेड हूँ, मैंने कॉलेज से पढ़ाई करी है, ये डेफिनेटली एक्सपेंसिव हो चुका है।
उसके पीछे का रीजन क्या हो सकता है?
Instead of focusing more on education, आजकल गवर्नमेंट फ्रीबीज पर ज्यादा ध्यान दे रही है।
Do you think that coaching institutes are really necessary for students?
Instead of educating, most of them are indulged in instructing how to hack the system.
50% of the graduates are still not employable. What can be the reason behind it?
The course are not being updated with time. Currently, our curriculum teaches us what to do, कि क्या सोचें, but ये नहीं सिखाता कि कैसे सोचें।
Hi, I welcome you to the Crazy Careers podcast. Thank you so much for joining us in today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So before we get into the actual conversation, would you mind to give a brief introduction about yourself?
Right. So, hi, my name is Tejasav. I'm currently pursuing BSQFE at IIM Amritsar. I gave IPMAT this year. I secured All India rank 32 in JEPMAT and national rank 67 in BTech category in CUET. Other than that, I also qualified for some other exams.
I would like you to reiterate that viral statement that has taken the netizens like they went crazy, and not only that, it opened up eyes for many of us. What made you to make that bold statement in a public forum?
So, education is something
cannot be stolen, cannot be taxed. The more you spend, the more it becomes, the more you share, the more it expands.
And I mean, why not? सबको अपने मन की बात कहनी चाहिए। और जो मेरे मन में बात थी काफी टाइम से, जो मुझे लगा आजकल के टाइम में काफी इम्पोर्टेंट है, that I chose to deliver.
Right. So do you feel that education is becoming really expensive and even unaffordable for middle class people in our country?
Well, to be honest, education तो आज पहले के टाइम से काफी सस्ती और काफी accessible है. You can go to any educational website on the internet and learn about literally anything. But लोगों को बता पाना कि मैं educated हूँ, मैंने कॉलेज से पढ़ाई करी है, ये definitely expensive हो जाए.
Right. उसके पीछे का रीजन क्या हो सकता है?
Depends. I mean, simple reason can be कि गवर्नमेंट के अब जो थे प्रायोरिटीज वो चेंज हो चुकी है. Instead of focusing more on education, आजकल गवर्नमेंट फ्रीबीज पर ज्यादा ध्यान दे रही. Maybe that can be one reason.
Or how much a premium institute like IIM charging these days for an MBA?
A simple analogy to understand the median will be higher is the average placement, higher is the fee. However, definitely there are outliers like FMS Delhi, TIS, etc. But generally that's how things are.
Right. So what should be the ideal fee for an MBA in India that can be considered as affordable for most of the Indians?
The fee for MBA is definitely high, even unaffordable for many. But again, ideally, a fee that does not cost an average Indian 7 to 8 years of EMI should be charged. I would have suggested a model similar to DFS, but I feel like DFS is a college good for people with aspirations ki अच्छी नौकरी मिल जाए. And alternatives like ISP and IIMs are institutions with a bigger campus, with a better environment. That means I have a 24/7 world-class library, an excellent sports complex, everything that promotes a holistic development. So that needs money to sustain. However, that does not mean that fee charged should be 25 lakhs. The source of money could differ.
Absolutely. So do you think that coaching institutes are really necessary for students?
See, if coaching institutes serve the purpose they are intended to, yes, they are necessary. But the real question is, are they serving it? No. Instead of educating, most of them are indulged in instructing how to identify a similar set of questions in the exam, which formula or short trick to use to get answer quickly. Basically, how to hack the systems.
But why do you think that it is necessary? Because we have a school education system and our like basics are getting cleared in our school itself or college itself. Apart from that, why do we need a coaching institutions unless and until you are preparing for a competitive exam?
For example, not everyone can have equal access. A kid living in a village, in a small village in India, may not have as good as teachers a student living in a good city has in his or her school. So in that case, a coaching institution helps to bridge this gap by educating them on the same level.
Right. But do you think that there is a scarcity of good teachers in our education.
No, definitely, definitely. There's a lack, especially since the coaching institutions have come. You would not find many good teachers for 11th and 12th in schools nowadays because coaching institutions have very lucrative packages for good teachers. So you'll find many good teachers now switching to coaching institutions. So unless and until you go to a really good coaching institute, you might not find a very good teacher nearby or even in your school.
Right. If given chance, will you be a school teacher or a professor?
I think that's a very noble profession, and I might not be skilled enough for that. So maybe not.
Yeah, but do you think that there is a lack of interest in our youth to become a teacher? Maybe the pay scale are not that good enough, or there might be some other reasons as well.
I feel there is not a lack, but again, the motivation among the top students is definitely lacking. So you'll find people who are willing to become teachers. We have a lot of applicants for B.Ed programs and other competitive exams that are there for teachers. But again, most of them just look at it from the perspective of a job and not as teaching should be viewed by many people or how it used to be viewed.
Right. And do you think that India is standing in a stage where we should again reiterate back to our history and introduce Gurukul system?
I mean, Gurukul system was definitely a good thing, but to implementing that exact system may not work in today's era because things change. If I sell a Nokia 3310 in today's time, people might not prefer it. But same thing
Yes.
worked like anything 20 years ago. So with some changes and some regulations, some new inputs, we can try to implement.
Just to will you, say a little bit about the course that you are pursuing at IIM Amritsar?
Right. So the course I'm pursuing is BSc in Quant Finance and Economics. So if people have heard about HFTs, high frequency trading firm, those are basically quant firm. I'd say my course generally caters to the holistic part of it. So in my course currently, I'm doing probability, statistics, accounts, microeconomics. So a very diverse course to shape an individual to be a good manager as well as have sufficient knowledge about quantitative finance.
Why didn't prefer for any technical education, like rather than going for engineering or medical examinations, you choose something which is different from these traditional paths?
Major plus was that this is a new program. It was introduced this year itself. So everything that is planned is up to date. The course, the things we are being taught are up to date. So I wanted a curriculum that will prepare me for the future and not teach me things that once existed in the past and are still being.
Going back to that coaching institute question, so do you think that there is a need that Indian government should pitch in and regularize all these coaching institutes in their curriculum way of teaching and fees? I mean, that should be applicable for coaching institutes and schooling system that we are having. So do you think that Indian government should really pitch in and this is the high time?
I mean, government should have regulations, and I think they have plenty of regulations already. But the thing is about implementation. Even I like keep that aside. I think India is a free country. Everyone should have the freedom to do what they want to do, however they want to do, with not that level of regulations, not being restricted. So, बाकी लोगों के काम में टांग अड़ाने की जगह, fix government schools, increase the funding to government colleges, ensure that your system can't be hacked, and I think that will solve 90% of the problems for us.
We are already seeing that there is a decline in the placement statistics these days. I mean, from past 4-5 years, like most of the employers, they come out and say like 50% of the graduates are still not employable, even though they have a proper education certificate, everything fine, but then they are not employable. So, what do you think? Like, what can be the reason behind it, and how we can eradicate that?
So the same reason why I opted for this program and not for some other institute is that the course are not being updated with time how they should. Same things that used to be that students used to learn 20 years ago, we still are learning that today. So unless we promote an up-to-date course, I think this trend is likely to go forward. And again, another thing to fix that can be that people start upskilling themselves other than what they do in the curriculum, because currently our curriculum teaches us what to do, कि क्या सोचें, but ये नहीं सिखाता कि कैसे सोचें. So वो
Yeah.
हमें अभी अपने में implement करने की.
Right. And a little bit of personal interest also matters. So, yes, I have a very interesting question for you. So NCERT has recently included partition horror module. So do you think that that's a good move?
मैंने एक कोट पढ़ा था एंड लाइक आई सेड अभी कि बच्चों को ये सिखाइए कि कैसे सोचे ना कि क्या सोच. So I firmly reiterate that the true purpose of education is not to prescribe what the youth should think, but rather to empower them with the essentials to think critically, think independently, and think ethically. So कोई भी reform या addition or thoughtful exclusion that meaningfully advances this fundamental objective of cultivating discerning, open minded individuals is welcome. In fact, I feel it is a necessity in today's world and deserves all our attention.
So there are a lot of scholarship schemes, there are a lot of informations available out there, but it is not accessible to the students who really need it. So what can be done to get those accessibility or those information to the right place?
For that, let's talk about all the criterias of annual 8 lakh income, 900 square feet property. The process is not just. You'll see plenty of people from wealthy backgrounds somehow being able to get benefits under this. So unless we do the ABCDs of addressing the students in need, I think it's a stretch to move further and providing needy students with good opportunities, especially when it comes to scholarship. And again, even if we are able to get to that phase, मुझे लगता नहीं है कि इसमें ज़्यादा कुछ होने वाला है because हमारी सरकार freebies बांटने में ज़्यादा busy है. You should check the money spent on Ladli Behan Yojana and how many Ladla Bhaiyas are taking its benefit under corruption.
Right. So would you like to give a glimpse of your experience to IIM Amritsar and did you get any kind of scholarship and what was the entire process?
Okay, so in order to get an admission to IIM Amritsar's BSQFE program, you should appear for IPMAT exam, which is conducted every year after the CBSE board exams are over. So roughly around March 13th, March. And once you are able to get a good score in the IPMAT exam, you have another process of interview. So you are interviewed by the faculty here at IIM Amritsar and they see that are you just smart in an exam or you have something beyond that as well. So it's more of a holistic process that takes. And talking about the scholarship part, yes, we do have scholarship options. For a batch of 60, the person who scores the highest will be awarded a full scholarship on the tuition fees.
So what are your future aspirations? Do you want to go ahead for the higher education further or you would like to join some corporate or what are your aims and dreams?
I'd like to explore my options after this 3-year program at IIM Amritsar. I might be looking at an MBA post some work experience, but I haven't decided upon that as of. But again, in addition to that, I have some entrepreneurial interests that I'd like to pursue alone.
In which area it would be?
Something that deals with social entrepreneurship. So anything, maybe the health sector, maybe something in finance that helps. So something about giving back to the society.
So what would be your suggestion to the government on how to make our education system of global standards?
Build a strong foundation. Start with the primary level in schools first. फिर आप ये इंश्योर करिए कि कॉलेज सिर्फ एक प्लेसमेंट लगाने की जगह नहीं है. It is supposed to educate students. People go to colleges like Oxford because उनका प्लेसमेंट अच्छा नहीं है इस वजह से नहीं, बट उन्हें पता है कि वहाँ जो सीखने मिलेगा वो शायद ही कहीं और.
Right. Absolutely. And also, today's generation also should believe like बस यही बात नहीं होती कि that you go to college and you got an opportunity for placement. Also, you should learn like how to create your own opportunity. जैसे मैंने आपको पूछा what is your future aspiration and you based upon that on. So that doesn't mean like आप कुछ साल placement लेके experience नहीं लेना चाहते. But then still वो jill और वो enthusiasm रहना चाहिए that even if opportunities are not there, then you would be self-sustained enough that you can create your own opportunities.
Definitely.
What do you think about what is currently going on in Nepal? Why Gen Z as a word is being highlighted in all the news platforms? But is it a right move? Or do you think that it should have been carried in a different way?
I mean, I stand with the youth in Nepal. They're doing the absolutely correct thing in my view. But again, it could have been less violent, but they didn't have any other option. The politicians, as far as I've heard, they were living a really lavish life and the youth tried to expose that lifestyle through social media. And as a response, the government banned all these social media apps over there. YouTube was banned, Facebook was banned, and it made it really tough for people to communicate with their loved ones. So definitely they should fight for their rights, and I've been a big supporter for that. But again, on the other hand, it could have been in a less violent.
And it is not only a communication platform, but it is also a new platform for many because these are content creators as well. So, all right, it was really an insightful conversation, and thank you so much for joining us in today.
It was my pleasure to be here on this platform and share my views with you.